In today's video, I'll be showing you the Hyperlapse feature of the Mavic 2, and also I'll provide some specific tips that you can use to really get a good Hyperlapse out of it. So stay tuned. The Hyperlapse was definitely one of the features that I was really interested in with the Mavic 2. Now, I own the Mavic 2 Zoom. If you haven't seen my unboxing and test video, I'll link it down below so you can have a look. Before I forget, you can actually fake a Hyperlapse in the process of creating that tutorial, so I'll drop the link down below once it's ready. Anyway, let's get cracking. So I'm really excited to show you some of the Hyperlapse features of the Mavic 2. To access the Hyperlapse, make sure you're actually on video mode, and then on the left hand side corner, there should be an icon in there, controller icon actually. Click on that one, and then it'll show up with a lot of flight modes in there. Pick the Hyperlapse. Once you pick the Hyperlapse, it will prompt you with 4 options in there. 4 Hyperlapse available. There's the free, there's the course lock, there's the circle, and there's the waypoints. So let me briefly explain to you each one of them. Basically, free mode is free. It allows you freedom of control to maneuver your Mavic 2, control the gimbal while it automatically takes multiple photos to create that Hyperlapse video. You can check it out, some of my examples here. You can select the capture interval from 2 seconds all the way to 15 seconds per picture, and that will impact the video length, from 2 seconds all the way up to 30 seconds. The next one is the circle Hyperlapse mode. The Mavic 2 will either go clockwise or counterclockwise, taking multiple photos of a particular subject or object that you can mark, and you can adjust the interval and the duration. Here's a couple of examples. Make sure that the subject or object is large enough so that you can actually see, how your movements are going. Next one is the course lock. Course lock Hyperlapse allows you to move the orientation of drone without actually changing the flight direction. Think of it like a railway tracks. If you chose a particular direction of the Mavic 2, it will just go straight. Regardless whether you change the orientation, you move to the left, to the right, it will still go to the direction that you choose. Pretty handy depending on the type of Hyperlapse you want to do. Here's a couple of examples. And lastly, waypoints, probably one of my favorite. It allows you to create multiple waypoints, and the drone will follow that flight path while creating a Hyperlapse or taking multiple photos. You can either choose the waypoints in order or in reverse. Pretty simple and easy to do. Have a look at some of my examples here. Let me share you some specific tips that I've learned over the last couple months so that you can really get a good Hyperlapse out of your Mavic 2. First tip is a little bit of an administrative process. Make sure that you're fully charged with your battery, your controller, you're up to date with your latest, DJI Go App and the firmware. Also, do check the weather. Make sure it's not too windy, because the worst thing that happen is you're flying and doing Hyperlapse and it's too windy, which means your footage is a little bit shaky. If you plan to edit them out individually, you're gonna add in some warp stabilizer in there, but if you're getting the DJI Go App to produce the output for you, the stabilization may not be that good. Oh yeah, make sure you have a large SD card, because you'll be taking multiple photos. When I say multiple, like in tune of 300, 400, 500 per Hyperlapse. Come prepared with a large SD card. Next up is really find a subject or object to create a Hyperlapse video. Very important, so you can let your audience know where to look at, and make sure that there's movement. The reason why we create Hyperlapse is to show the movement. Some specific type of movements are like water, and the sea, the ocean, the waves, cars moving, people moving. Those are some things that you need to consider when you're composing your shot. Remember to put on some ND filters. Use the PGY Tech and Polar Pro. I'll drop the link down below so you can have a look at my review video of the 2 ND filters I've used. Very helpful, especially if you want to get a cinematic footage or cinematic blur into your Hyperlapse footage. Well, there's nothing wrong with shooting in auto. Personally, if you want a really good result on your Hyperlapse, you really need to shoot in manual mode. Whenever there's changes in lighting conditions, if you shoot in auto, you'll definitely notice it. Some of the footage is going to be too dark, some of the footage is going to be too bright. So if you really want a good looking Hyperlapse video, you want to shoot in manual mode so that you're very consistent with your shutter speed, so you can control the exposure or each of those individual shots and be consistent when you produce those videos. So along with the manual settings, make sure that you save those individual photos in RAW. Last but not least, if you really want a good looking Hyperlapse video, you really need to manually do it yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with the DJI Go App synthesizing and producing the output for you. Sometimes it works well, but sometimes it doesn't, because the stabilization may not be perfect, or the color saturation is not good, or there's flicker, or the exposure is not right. If you really want a good looking hyperlapse video, you really need to edit it yourself. Now unfortunately I can't show it here because otherwise this video will drag on and on and on. So I'll be creating a separate tutorial on that one, and I'll link it down below once it's ready. That's really about it today. Quick and short video. I hope you learned a little bit more about how the hyperlapse feature works for the Mavic 2. So hopefully some of the tips that I've shared will help you create a good looking hyperlapse video. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Oh, by the way, do follow me on my other social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and more for news, updates, and exclusive content. Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.